So you mentioned earlier that you and Kelly McCrimmon meet for breakfast every day. At this time of year, is it trade talk? Is that what you guys are talking mostly about?
Yes.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yep.
You expect to do something? I anticipate.
Yeah, it would have to make perfect sense because again, we're looking at Stone and Thompson and what are the timelines? Are we, is it becoming clearer when we can get them back? And so we're trying to buy time to figure that out. And again, LTI becomes a factor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if Mark's coming back, we may not do anything because we were a pretty good team at the start of the year when everybody was in.
Yeah.
We had that stretch where we had a lot of people out. We've got most guys back now. Our defense is intact. The 6 guys that we thought would be playing regularly at the start of the season are finally back for the first time in almost 3 months. And it's really helped our play in the last few games to have them all back in. So we'll see. It complicates things. The injuries complicate things. And
sure.
That's life.
The other complication would be if you look at the standings in the Western Conference, there's no runaway team. There's no team that said staked a claim to first place in either division by 12 points like Boston has.
Yeah.
Does that change your thinking too, that you see a path forward?
Well, I'll tell you, John, the one thing you don't do, I don't do enough of, and I don't look at the standings a whole lot because there's not a whole lot you can do about them. And I think it's coming down to the last week. And like everybody else, if you can make your team better, you do.
Yeah.
If it makes sense, you try to do that to give your team a push. But sometimes it's there and makes sense, and sometimes it's not. And again, we've got some injuries that complicate things for us, but that's, as I said, it's life in the NHL. You got to work through it.
But surely, when you look at your own division, where you, as we talked about before, 5 teams 5 points apart, and then I think it's 10 points for 5 teams in the other division, and nobody's running away with it. You could make one tweak and get to the Western Conference final, 3 rounds of playoffs, and and Bill would be very happy with that extra revenue.
Sure would. Sure would. Yeah. And again, if you're looking at your team, if there's some place you can make that tweak and you can do it, you do it.
Yeah.
Everybody does, you do it. If you're not, you're getting complacent, and because there's always a way you can improve your team.
But you're at the cap. You're at the cap or close to it, aren't you?
Yes, but we have space because of Mark Stone. But if he's coming back,
well, exactly,
sooner than later, then we don't have space. So that's where it gets complicated.
Yeah, that's where it gets complicated. You don't know what to do. You don't know what you can do.
Not just yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not really looking for additional 3rd and 4th line help, which is part of the trade deadline. You may be looking to replace one of your key players.
Well,
if available.
You have a wish list of where you think you need help, but you just never know. Every once in a while, someone presents something to you that you weren't considering, but you say, you know what, that'd be a good ad.
Yeah.
In a situation years ago when I was working for Pat in Vancouver, we got a call from Pittsburgh, and we weren't thinking in these terms. We were looking at other things, and they said, would you do Naslin for Stoyanov? And because Pittsburgh needed some muscle, and that's what they wanted. It wasn't what we were thinking of, but we thought, you know what, we've got enough muscle. Naslin's a pretty good player. We should do this. And you do. So sometimes that happens too.
Yeah.
And is that so? Is Kelly canvassing, surveying, and being surveyed and canvassed every day these days? Is that
Oh, yeah.
that's happening all the time now?
Yeah, all the GMs are doing that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk going on, yeah. And like most teams would, like the Rangers had, they'd like to get their business done early, and the
Right.
guy that they're selling would like to get their business done early because you worry about a guy getting injured. It's tough to trade an injured player. So, yeah, ideally, most people don't want to go down to the wire. They'd like to get things done early, and there's a lot of talk. Sure.
So why do people wait then? I mean, because I can see the logic. I mean, that's why the Horvat deal got done early, and you talked about the deal for Tarasenko.
Well,
why not do it now? Why wait till March the 3rd?
The only reason you wait is because you don't have the deal that you want yet. You don't think you're getting the value you want yet.
In your new role, do you still get calls from your buddies? You have the GMs elsewhere. They still give you a call every now and then?
Yeah.
This time of year?
Yep. Sure. And happy to talk to them and everything else. And I see a lot of guys when we're traveling, we're
Right.
going to buildings.
Of course.
But again, I've tried to, Kelly's the GM and he's the point man. Yeah. So I have a lot of respect for that position because I've been in it, and a lot of respect for Kelly. I don't initiate calls. I don't do anything like that.
Yeah.
He's the point man.
You've been around the game so long that some of these older guys like Lou, who I know that you have a really fondness for, how do you differentiate between competitiveness and friendship? How do you do that? Or does this go back to your playing days when it didn't matter then either?
It's hard when you really like and respect the other person. It's interesting. I was just thinking about this the other day. When I was between jobs, a couple of teams reached out, see if I want to come in an advisor's role or something like that. One of them was the Islanders, and I knew Garceau for many years, and I wanted to stay active, and said sure, I'd like to do that. So and he did me a big favor. I think I helped there, and I think they helped me. You see different ways that things are done and so on. Well, I was there for 2 years and then got the Vegas job, and now I'm doing getting ready for the expansion draft and doing deals with every team. And Garth was, I gave Kelly 16 teams to look after, or 15 teams, and I took the others. And I took the guys I know well, and Garth was one of them. And we were working on a deal, and he felt like I was squeezing a little bit, and I wasn't, because I said, Garth, this is what I'm getting from other teams from this sort of thing. And I remember him specifically saying, well, you got to throw me a bone. And I said, Garth, I'd really like to, for all that we've been through the last couple of years. But my first responsibility is to this organization. And this is the type of deal I'm getting, and this is what I'm going to have to do with you. And he said, okay, I get it. But it wasn't easy.
Sure.